program is brought to you by IPTA Fiberglass. Fiberglass panels for all divisions. Highline Magazine, Australia's only free online Speedway magazine. SRA Sprintcar Series sponsors Eureka Garages and Sheds, Western Nissan, KTM Motorcycles and Avalon Raceway. Lumley Special Vehicles, car insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Heartland Raceway Moama. Visit www.heartlandraceway.com.au. Welcome to the Speedway Show, where this time we've got something for the Speedway sedan fans with round number 1 of the Victorian Super Sedan Series from Avalon, featuring an incredibly close finish and one of the biggest hits we've seen in sedans for quite some time. Let's kick it off with heat number 1. Early in the evening on a slightly wet track, and we see Anthony Randall in the 5 from Dave McKenzie, the 24, and here comes Dave Gardner, the Mount Gambier, in the number 1. Quickly working his way up to second, then the lead with Lucas Roberts in the V0. The insane chassis, the home-built chassis there, trying to make something happen. Up to third place, McKenzie quickly back to fourth, into the grasp of Neil Whitnish. There's the Castrol GT Bobcats entry of Dave Gardner. Ooh, big push for Roberts. Ben Falkhead, Ash Bergmere in the 16. In what is a truly national field, we've got guys from Tasmania in Corey Smith in the T16. We've got Trent Wilson from Queensland in the 44, and of course Dave Gardner out of South Australia, as we see Roberts again struggling with the bottom end of the racetrack, turn 3 and 4. Whitney's also having some dramas, but not so for our race leader, Dave Gardner. Good crowd on hand tonight too to see the super sedans, the big bangers, putting on some fantastic action. We pick up our race leader. He throws the car nicely into turn 3, and you can see it pretty much just steers around on a particular line. He's not fighting the wheel too hard, hence the speed. He's a well-travelled racer who races all over our country. His beloved super sedans. Up on the backs of Adam Box there, relative newcomer to super sedans. Plenty of time in Speedway sedans, but not that much experience in the big banger super sedans.
In the first heat, the track was quite slippery, and I really just wanted to get into the lead as early as I can. And I like the tracks a little bit slipperier like this, and I think being brought up on the farm, it's something that I was used to. So we got to the lead, and then we drove away, and we were set up really good for the first heat. I think some of the other guys were a bit too tight, and we were quite free, and it helped me get away. We had a pretty comfortable win in this one, so it was a good start to the night.
Definitely comfortable win as we go down to Glenn Lawless in the pits.
Ronnie Bergmere, welcome to the Speedway Show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's great to see you again. The season's just started. Is this your first night out for the year?
First night out for the year, yep.
Okay. Now the super sedans have gone through a bit of a change in the off-season with the new crate engine. Can you have a bit of a chat about that with us?
Yeah, for sure. I'm chairman of the Past Technical Advisory Committee, so we've got representatives in each state. We put it to the member group, throughout the national member group, and it was pretty overwhelming that we should adopt this crate engine. It'll be a very competitive engine at an affordable price, and they're already using it in the late models. They're using it extensively overseas. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah. So I note that there's a Bergmere Engineering car behind us. Is that your car or is it your son's car?
No, that's one of our cars. That's Ash's car. That's the car we keep cutting up and changing. It's an old car that we get some good results out of it, and it's still sort of a leaf spring car running against all the bar cars, so that's our enjoyment.
Oh, great stuff. So when are we going to see Ronnie Bergmere back in the car?
You won't. Ronnie Bergmere is too old, too tired.
Ronnie Bergmere is too old and tired.
Yeah.
Ron, it's great to see you back here. Keep your eyes open on the Speedway Show throughout the year, because we're going to be covering all classes, including the beloved super sedans. Have a great night.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Hollywood Lawless down in the pits, and Ronnie Bergmere, very big supporter of Super Sedan racing Victoria and around the country for many years. The 41 machine, the high-tech oils entry of Adam Beachy. What a famous name that is, Beachy. Better known, of course, for road racing back in the day, the 60s, the 70s, but are now in super sedans. Then we see the 44 again of Trent Wilson out of Queensland, and the 8, Jamie Collins, one of our front-running AMCA Nationals competitors. Also spending a little bit of time in the number 8 machine in super sedans. AMCA Nationals, of course, were designed to do that. Give you a grounding, step up to super sedans, sprint cars, late models, whatever it may be. Oh, and look at that, what a huge wreck that was for Adam Beachy in the 41. How short is that car? We see the window net come down, which is fantastic. It means that Adam's okay. But wow, that is one of the biggest wrecks you will ever see. Looking at the slow motion replay, the 4th car in line here, right behind Lucas Roberts. A little tap on the back of Lucas Roberts from Adam Beachy right there as we come out of turn number 4. Car runs a little wide with Ash Bergmere right behind him. Up towards the wall goes Beachy. Keep your eyes on that car there. He hooks it into turn number 1. There's no contact. It just grips up on the racetrack, gets up on the 2 outside wheels. He turns in it to bring it down, but the car will not slow down when the wheels are not on the ground. And he has hit that wall so hard and shortened up that car incredibly. Wow, bad luck for Adam Beachy. Alright, so that was some excitement there for sure as we move on to our feature event. Round 1 of the Victorian Super Sedan Series. And Dave Gardner, no surprises there on the front row. Can we get through turn 1 cleanly without any incidents? A little bit of pushing and shoving further back in the pack, but we have got through cleanly. What we wanted to see. Of course, we are minus Adam Beachy after that horrendous wreck that we just saw. Gardner there had a few little issues up in 1 and 2, getting the cars up on the inside, but doing a nice job out front. Trent Wilson, the Queenslander, the 44, in 2nd place at the moment. Jamie Collins in 3rd, and Ash Bergmere back there in 4th place. Collins doing a good job. Has done a lot of super sedan racing, but as I said before, one of our standout AMCA Nationals races down here in Victoria. Keep thinking of young Ash Bergmere, but he's not that young anymore. Been around a long time. Started racing this sedan when he was about 16. Pushed his dad out of the seat, Ron, who we heard talking earlier on, as we focus in there on our Tasmanian competitor at the back of the pack there in Corey Smith. So some great action a little further back in the pack. Smith, Neil Whitnish, the veteran Lionel West up ahead. Another one of the guys been in sedans for so long, decades in fact. As again we focus on Adam Box in the 25 with Ben Falkhead just behind him. Back to our leader now, as we can see a little bit of a slick line starting to develop on the race car. Coming out of 4, 1 and 2 still looks pretty juiced up, pretty hooky. We go back for a restart, and we see that Ash Bergmere on the back of Dave Gardner.
Yep, the start of the feature we managed to start out of position 1 because we'd won the shootout. It was a good even start with Trent and me. We just our car was a little bit tight for the feature, so it was a little bit difficult car to drive, but you had to drive it really hard. We got away from the field, I think, in the first 8 or 10 laps, and then there was a stoppage, which brought us back again. And then, but yeah, the car was fast, the car was really good, and the track, the Geelong was a credit to Geelong. The track was really good and really hooked up, so you really had to be aggressive when you were driving the car. But yeah, I think with the track being so good, and it's a credit, like I said, to Geelong, we were able to go around the outside of lap cars. The track was quite wide. The fastest part of the racetrack was through the middle, but when I came to lap traffic, I was able to go around the outside, which was good. Sort of kept me moving. And on a track like this, if you get caught behind lap traffic, it's so fast that the guys behind you catch you pretty quick. So yeah, we did manage to lap quite a few cars.
Well, there we go, a little bit of insight from the man who's leading the event there, Dave Gardner, and a bit of a telling factors about the traffic, the racetrack.
So we had a restart with 10 laps to go, and Ash was in second place behind me. I think we got away a little bit, but then I caught up to the lap traffic, and then I had caught two cars at one stage were too wide, and I lost a bit of time, and then in the last one I went too wide, and Ash got underneath me, and actually I thought, oh no, there was about maybe 4 to 5 laps to go. So went really hard and chased him as hard as I could over that last 2 or 3 laps. I guess I just never gave up, and didn't think I was probably going to catch him, but we managed to catch up, and quite amazing. Just on the last corner, we managed to. Look, it was nearly dead even, really, to be honest with you, as we went across the line, and I don't think there was really hardly anything in it. So just a great race.
Yeah, it was a great race. And of course we can see there he was the feature winner, but by how much? Let's wait and see. As I said, one of the closest finishes ever here. And we can see Gartner, that never give up attitude, on the back of Bergmeyer. The traffic that helped Bergmeyer grab the lead before is now helping Gartner get back on the tail.
Just sort of, I knew there was only a lap or so to go there, and I was behind Ash, and I just sort of had it go, and I just think on the very last corner, he might have just got balked a fraction by a lap car, and it just helped me get underneath him, and won by maybe about half a foot. I think it was the closest finish I've probably ever been involved in my whole racing career, and we didn't touch each other. It was just good racing.
Half a foot, according to Dave Gartner. I can tell you I was there that night, and it was a matter of centimetres. Right, there's our results. Gartner, Bergmeyer, Anthony Randall, Neil Whitney, Trent Wilson, Smith, Susel, Mackenzie, Box, Stockdale, and the rest of the pack. Well, this season's Australian Sprint Car All-Stars Championship, brought to you by Mainline Dynalog Dynamometers, had an exciting finish with a tied points championship that went the way of Team Hutchins and Paul Solomon on a countback, 3 victories to 2. Even on points, Solomon became the first ever driver to win 2 Australian Sprint Car All-Star Championships. Second place was the unfortunate Mark Caruso, the former champion himself. Equal on points, as I said, but lost it on a countback. Third place, Chris Solomon, the V83, a former series champion. Fourth place, James Wren, the V16, stepped up from wingless sprints. Fantastic debut for James. Back in fifth place, Jarman Dalitz, out of South Australia. Awesome result for the Traveller. The HS Star Award went to James Wren. Best presented car and crew to Michael Tancredi. Crew Chief of the Year, Kenny Hutchins. He'll love that. Most improved driver was Jarman Dalitz. And the Vortex Altitude Award to Daniel Evans, the one award you don't want. Rob Barker Encouragement Award went to Cody Atkins. Outstanding Achievement Award to Kenny Hutchins. Rookie of the Year Award to Sheehan Perrott. And the Driver's Driver Award to Phil Locke. Well done, Lockie. The Loss in a Lucky Draw went to Daniel Evans, and the All-Stars Legend Award went to Murray Locke. Let's take you back now to round number 2 of the All-Star Sprint Car Series, courtesy Mainline Dynalog Dynamometers. It's from Heartland Raceway up in sunny Echuca Moama, just over the border in New South Wales. 4 wide salute to the crowd. Now we get back, set, ready for racing. Paul Solomon in the 7 on pole. Chris Campbell, the 78 on the outside. Second row, Chris Solomon in the 83. Rusty Hickman in the 40. James Wren and Jack Gartner in the pair of 16s a little further back. But off the start, it's Paul Solomon, a former series champion. Jumps into a nice lead straight up from Chris Campbell. Former nationally rated AMCA national champion is Chris Campbell. In fact, 1 year there he won it. We focus on Rusty Hickman in the 40. The young teenager. Oh, Chris Campbell turns around up in 3-4. Brenton Farrer, nowhere to go, slams hard into the 78 and suffers some huge damage. We have a look at the replay. Campbell very loose up the top. Russ Hickman able to drive round. James Wren avoids. Brenton Farrer on the bottom, nowhere to go. T-bones Campbell, who incredibly drives away while Farrer sits on the racetrack thinking, what have I got to do here? Unbelievable. Sometimes that's the luck. That won't help Farah's attempt to become the first driver ever to win 2 All-Star champions. Back to green, and it's Paul Solomon from his little brother Chris. That's before these pair of guys, both former series champions. Rusty Hickman back in the 40. Coming back from a very, very serious accident at Murray Bridge Speedway. Broke his neck. Could have ended up a lot worse, but coming back and racing hard. So Chris Solomon, the younger of the Solomon boys, former series champ. And he drove for Tony Bartlett out of South Australia. Up high on the wall we can see the cars. Not a lot of room between the right rear of the wall. A little bit more room up in 1 and 2, but definitely down in 3, 4. They are a little closer. This is a big racetrack. It's bigger than your quarter mile. It's up towards a half mile. Built and developed by Dave Roberts, former sedan racer, as we go back to another restart. Sedan racers, for some reason, tend to love the big tracks because they can get through the gearbox on the sedan. Sprint cars, of course, don't have a gearbox. They're direct drive. But hence we have a beautifully built big track. The 216s, James Wren stepping up from wingless sprints, and Jack Gardner, the young teenager out of Mount Gambier, another one of the famous Gardner family who can drive anything and drive them down fast. Looking for a run up the inside of Wren as we see Rusty Hickman in the V40 doing a nice job up in 3rd place, running down the 2 Solomon boys out front. Eddie Lumbar on screen, Fast Eddie in the V6. Comes from nearby Deniliquin, so he's actually a New South Walian, but runs predominantly in Victoria. Runs 14 sprint car in the 36 and now in the 6. So he'd have a lot of local fans here tonight. Loves his racing, does Eddie. Supports the series with sponsorship from his own transport company, Lumbar's Transport, and also from one of his sponsors, Steel Pipes Australia. Very likeable driver. Very unlucky driver too, I'd have to say, from watching him over the years. Back to Rusty Hickman in the 4-0 from nearby Bendigo, so not too far, not too big a haul for the team from Bendigo up to Moama, as he certainly is closing in a little on the all black 83 of Chris Solomon, currently sitting in 2nd place. Wide run into the wall there. These young guns not scared of too much at all, are they? Sean Farrell, the 38, out of Wagga, Barra Bull Bars proprietor. Been a regular driver on the All-Star Series for a number of years now. Former sedan racer some years back. Got back into it with a 360 sprint car. Again, a serious supporter and great racer. As we saw, Rusty Hickman a little fairly aggressive on the pass up the inside of Sean Farrell. Actually gave him a little bit of an elbow there and was able to get past Chris Solomon as Chris decided to run around the outside. So the battle there is for 2nd place as Paul Solomon in the V7 continues on out front. Rounding up his front row starter, Chris Campbell there in the 78, so he's gone from the front row to being a lap, but I dare say he's got some damage from that early contact with Brenton Farah. You can't take a hit that hard and not suffer some sort of damage. But Chris Campbell, very, very good racer. Just probably doesn't have the car to go along with it tonight. So coming up on Phil Locke, Farmer Phil, who has done just about every single All-Star Sprint Car Series round since its inception. Hell of a racer, great bloke, very laconic, is Farmer Phil, the dairy farmer from down Simpson Way. Absolute standout in what was known as open sportsman many years ago, which evolved into wingless sprints, where he and his brother Murray were just about unbeatable in that division for so many years. So we pick up some more action. It's Chris Campbell coming under pressure from Chris Solomon, who's trying to put him a lap down. Gone past the 2 there. A newcomer to the sport, Boyd Harris, whose father ran open sprint cars many years ago with the number 2 also. Eddie Lumbar closing in on Chris Solomon, trying to put some big pressure on him. Meanwhile, it's our race leader, Paul Solomon, coming up the inside of Michael Tancredi in the 29. Now, Tancredi used to drive last season, in fact, drove the car that Paul Solomon is driving, or effectively drove for the team, using Kenny Hudson's equipment. Now back in his own is Michael Tancredi, and Paul Solomon has done a deal with Kenny Hutchins. That has been very, very fruitful. As you can see from the board there, taking the feature win round number 2 from Rusty Hickman, Chris Solomon, Eddie Lumbar, great result for him, Daniel Evans, Mark Caruso, Jack Gardner, James Wren, Tancredi, the man we were just talking about in 9th, and Cody Atkins rounding out the top 10. So on the podium, some happy, smiling, relatively young guys. Alright, we're going to finish off the show with some big hits. Starting straight up with hit number 1, courtesy David McKay, Braden Parr, right here at Avalon Raceway. Parr in the 77, one of the young guns, just a teenager. David McKay, relative youngster. In the 83, we see here the action. Turn 1 and 2 at Avalon Raceway. A little bit of a moment, got a little unsettled. It was David McKay in the 83. Braden Parr trying to make a run up the inside, made some contact, and in the pair of them getting torn up in the process. We see Mike Van Bremen and the 45, a former multiple series champ, and on the comeback trail after a few years out of the seat, sneaks around the outside. He'll be a recurring theme in our crash action coming up. Here's another angle. Parr, you can see carrying some momentum up the inside of McKay, who didn't quite have the corner speed. The inevitable contact, and upside down goes McKay. Fair bit of damage to both of those cars, but more so to McKay. Here we go, slow motion replay. Look at the speed of Braden Parr, the Tritech Lubricants car. Just as he gets up the inside of McKay, McKay hits a little bit of a rut, bounces out, unsettles the car, and Parr had too much speed to avoid. Gives McKay a bit of a push, gives him a carry, and then upside down goes McKay. Jamie Haynes squeezes around the outside, Van Bremen around the outside also. Number of guys through up the inside. So a fair bit of damage there to both those cars, and in particular McKay. Now we go to the same track, same turn, this time Jessica Molden. In the second of the Brett Milburn Racing entries, a 360. Look at the sparks fly as she tags the wall, and up and down she goes. Van Bremen again. You can't have a crash off without Van Bremen being in there somewhere. Jessica Molden, former Australian Formula 500 champion, doing a little bit of sprint car racing from time to time. You see she got up a little wide, a little loose, tagged the back, that turned the front in, sparks flew. Just pull your hands off the wheel, hunker down, and ride it out was about all she could do in that one. You got another view in real time, see how quickly that all happened. As I said, former national champion in the 500s, not done a lot of sprint car racing, but from time to time gets in to Rick Milburn's second car, the 360, courtesy of a deal with Ian Gosling and Wayne Milburn Jr. The ID at 68, torn up a little there. Thankfully, Jess was okay. There's Van Bremen showing off the Camden Building and Signage Services 45 for the fans. Take some sweet evasive action. Heat number 3, our final wreck of the night, is Grant Anderson back at Heartland Raceway, Moama. And a fairly big wreck for Grant, who was probably the most singularly successful sprint car racer at the Heartland venue. Comes from Albury, not too far away, and has had multiple feature wins. He's also had a couple of wrecks, and generally, due to the speed of the venue and the speed that Grant races at, when they do go wrong, they go wrong big. We see him chasing the 40 car of Rusty Hickman for the lead of this SRA Series event. Got a little wide on the slick track, tagged the wall, up and over he goes. When I interviewed him after this, he said, well, I didn't come here to run second, I was racing for the win. Unfortunately, there just wasn't enough left in the racetrack to hold him up at that speed. Tagged the wall, up and over. So if you enjoyed that, and you enjoyed the racing in general, why don't you become part of the scene and head down to racetrack, see it all live, where you can see all the action, where all the passing happens on the track. There's nothing better. V8 Racing reigns supreme in our sprint cars. 410 cubic inches. Why don't you become a member or support of your local Speedway today?